Hi everybody, it's AJ here, and I'm here to talk today with you about file structure and do a small CSS activity for our web design course. And I have a special guest.
Hello everyone, my name is Josue. I'm an instructor for the web design unit, and I go here to the University of Wisconsin-Madison, and I'm studying rehab psych and education studies.
Cool. So how did you get into web design?
I was offered the position to teach web design, so I had to learn it, and I've been loving it since.
Awesome.
So.
Yeah, and that was already a few years ago. So between the two of us, we have a lot of web design experience. So let's look at what we're looking at today. So we're still kind of taking smaller steps toward understanding this whole beast that is web design. So today we're going to learn how to unzip and zip a folder. Basically a directory or a folder with a bunch of files in it. It's hard to move around across file sharing sites and email and stuff like that. So we're just going to look at how you can easily right-click and unzip a file, or right-click and zip a file. A folder to create a single file out of that folder. That makes it easier to share it. And then we're going to look at file structure for a website. So basically, our suggested way that you organize your files so that your website's very well organized, and we'll go through that so that it functions properly. And then we're going to talk about CSS. So that stands for Cascading Style Sheets, and you'll show us more about that and what the meaning of that is, but essentially it's the overall layout and design of your HTML code. In order for CSS to work, we have to link one file of CSS to however many files of HTML pages we have. So that's, hopefully we can wrap our heads around that in this video. And then writing a little bit of the CSS code. It's a new and unfamiliar syntax or way in which we write it, so getting a little taste of what that is like will be excellent. So, Josue, you have a kind of a project that we're going to do. Do you want to start walking us through that?
Yeah, so the first step, like we have here, is unzipping a folder. So for this unit, we're working on Canvas, and we have this week's module, and we have this whole other bunch of stuff. But what we're gonna focus on is this Kim website zip.
Okay.
And so we're gonna go ahead and click that, and we're gonna download it. And so you can see here that it's downloaded here below.
Mm-hmm.
And so personally, I like to work from the desktop. And especially helps if you have a clean desktop. But it's easier for me to find stuff. So then you can go here to the File Explorer, and then you'll see that it will most likely be in our downloads, and it is up top right here. So then we just move this to your desktop.
Nice. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff here in our downloads.
Yeah, so then we can minimize this, and then it's going to be up here.
Okay, so it's a single file .zip, but it kind of indicates through its icon that it looks like a folder. So it's representing. Yeah. There's a folder inside of there.
So then,
yeah, how do we unzip it?
Yeah, so then you're going to double click on it, and it's going to take you to this menu, and then you're going to select the folder, and you're going to extract it.
Okay.
And then it's going to ask for a location where you want to copy the folder to.
Mm-hmm.
And you can click many other locations if you would like, but for us, I would like it to just be on the desktop again, so then it's okay where it is right now. I'm going to press OK.
Great. So it's like it's unzipped, and now it's a folder, and we can actually access the files.
Yeah.
So it's pretty simple. I think what people get caught up on is this icon looks kind of different, and they double click and it takes you here, and you're expecting to see all the files. You can explore the files here and just take the ones you want, but all we do is hit extract, and yeah, it always just takes you exactly to where it'll drop the unzipped folder in the exact same location as the zipped folder's in. So thanks for that to show. Why don't we just show how to then zip when we're all done? Might as well show that right now while we're talking about zipping.
Yep, so then we have a regular folder here, and then
what happens if we double click that one?
So this one opens automatically, and then
okay,
you
cool.
have all your files in here.
Just as we expected.
Yep, but we're going to practice zipping it back up. So if you want to upload it to, in this case, Canvas, to submit your assignment or somewhere else, you can zip that. So then all you have to do is you right click it, and then it's going to give you a menu. You go to 7-zip, add to archive, and then make sure you pay attention to the archive format. And then there's different options, but for us it's obviously going to be zip again, so we're going to select that, and then you press OK.
And one thing I want to add here is basically now it zipped it up. That's awesome. Pretty simple. What zipping also does, besides making it just one file, no matter how many files are actually inside of that folder, it also it's a way of compressing. So it might actually be smaller this way than all the individual folders, all the individual files added up.
Yeah. So
Cool. Can we go back to our presentation, because that's zipping and unzipping? But what's the next topic here we're going to talk about? File structure for a website. So yeah, once we unzip, what's the next part of this project?
Yeah. So then we're gonna go back to our folder that we're working on, which is the one that you downloaded. And so as you can see here, we have different type of files. Some that we will not use in this video, but it's good to talk about. Specifically, that's the index.html and the splash.css. So these files have to do with the splash page of our website. And what a splash page is, it's like your own little enter page.
Okay.
So that think of it like an introduction to a paper. It introduces the website to the website audience.
Gotcha.
So,
and in web design, in index.html, we don't have a choice on what we call that file. That's going to be our first file that a web browser is going to look for in a website. So you always have to have that index. And then from there, you can enter into the rest of the actual site.
yeah.
So what are some of these other files we have here for our web design?
Yeah, so as you can see here, we have more HTML files, some JPEG, some .ttf
And
files.
What's that? What's a TTF?
So that has to do with the font that we'll be using for our website.
Okay, so you can actually have fonts, images, HTML.
Yeah, and
what
you can
else?
go to a website like Google Fonts to download fonts like these.
Cool.
Yeah.
And I see .png, that's just another image file.
Yep, that's just another image file.
Okay.
So then the first step is that we're going to create the folders where we want to organize a bit more.
Okay.
So we're going to go ahead and right click, new folder, and we're going to call this fonts. And then we're going to repeat, new folder, and then we're going to call this images.
And I'll just point out you're using lowercase letters, and it's very descriptive but simple. So
Yep.
fonts, we're going to put our font in there, I'm guessing. Images, we're going to do all of our images for our website.
Yeah.
It's very nice.
So then, like AJ had mentioned to me before, you can organize these by type, so it's easier to look at. So you can go ahead and click that, and what this does is that organizes by file type.
Gotcha.
So then what we're going to do is that our first folder is fonts, so we're going to try to find the font file, which is here at the bottom, and we're just going to move it to this folder. And then our second folder is the images folder. So then we're going to find all the images in this folder, and then you can see that it starts from here to here. So then we can move it one by one, or we can select all of them and move them to the images folder.
Cool. And let me just show you one more thing, because how your Windows Explorer window is going to be set up might look different on everyone's. So to find this type sorting option, you might have to right click up on this top area and make sure that type is selected, because it might be missing on yours. And it's not totally necessary, it just makes the job a little easier.
Yep.